Lost Media.
Welcome to Anything But Cliche, a place for real talk about age gaps, culture clashes, and all the things people whisper about but rarely discuss out loud.
Yeah, we're kind of defining a relationship on our own terms.
I would say unconventional relationship.
In every sense of the term. So many dynamics that come into our relationship. Our races, our age. You're like basically on Social Security.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, I love you.
Here are your hosts, Clifton and Shay.
Welcome back to Anything But Cliche. This is the Season 1 recap. Let's get into it. Miss Shay, what do you think after getting through an entire season?
It was a learning curve for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I realized I didn't know anything. I thought I knew everything.
Yeah.
But it was a good experience. I'm actually really happy that we decided to sign with someone instead of doing it on our own.
Oh, yeah. Lost Media has been an incredible partner. I mean, I'll be honest, there was a point where I was really kind of frustrated and I didn't feel like we were getting as much, for lack of a better term, hand-holding. Mm-hmm. We're so new at this. We didn't know what we didn't know. We failed to ask a lot of questions up front that I think were, should have been asked or were, somewhat critical for, for our podcast production. I think the biggest one was we never asked what the hours of the studio were. We were just assuming that we were going to be able to record on evenings and weekends and whenever we wanted. And as it turned out, they're only open 8 to 5.
We have office hours.
Which was just so foreign to us.
Yeah.
So that was probably like the biggest stumbling block for me on season 1. But as far as, we've only got one episode released at this point, or published, I should say, is the proper term. And, that episode also was funny because it is by far our worst. And in fact, I wanted to just throw it in the trash and re-record a new episode. But credit to Lost Media, they actually turned our turd into polished that turd up and made it, something worth releasing. So that was actually pretty cool. And also, we talked about this a lot, that we look forward to, at episode 50, at episode 100, looking back at episode 1 and just kind of,
seeing our growth and progression.
Yeah. And it will almost be, I think it will be comical to go back and enjoy that episode from, more experienced ears.
Yeah. I think a lot of people actually really liked our first episode, which was funny. So I'm like, oh my God. It took me a while to listen to it because I'm like, God, I just remember going in the studio that day and I felt like I had rehearsed and I'm like, wait, this is not supposed to be rehearsed. Like, this is just me going in, like us having a conversation like normal, like how most podcasts, obviously you're supposed to have like points you want to hit, but I felt like I was trying to memorize a script at first, and it took me a minute to be like, wait, that's not what we're doing here. It's not like a radio show, it's a podcast.
That's 100% accurate. I mean, you nailed it on that. We wrote up a script and we practiced or rehearsed, I guess is the proper term, because we knew we had a time frame within which we needed to stay. And so we practiced enough times to where our answers fell within that time frame, and that made it rehearsed. And then when we actually went live and were in the studio, it was difficult to remember our lines, so to speak. We didn't have any teleprompters or cue cards or anything, and we shouldn't have. But I just remember kind of fumbling over the points I was trying to hit as the producer JC was interviewing us, and it was just it
was an experience.
It was an experience. So we've touched on some lowlights. What are some highlights?
I mean, I really love working with Lena and JC. I love the studio. And I loved our guests. I feel like they were all really, like, respectful and prompt about making sure that the studio on time, following the directions, like, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And they all were great, to be honest.
Yeah, shout out to our guests.
Yeah.
Dan and Trinu and Katie. Yeah. They really were amazing partners, in our first season. I think, for me especially, Dan was our first guest. And, well, I guess he was our first guest in studio, but in terms of the release of our episodes, he won't be the first guest. But having him in was great because he's a pro. Mm-hmm. He's been working in television and radio for 30 plus years. Don't mean to put you on blast and let people extrapolate your age, but knowing you as well as I do, I know you don't give a shit about it. So anyway, so having him, I don't know if it helped you as much as it helped me to put me at ease. Yeah. Because I knew he would just be like on point. He would, know how to speak on camera and on mic, mm-hmm. and just, like you said, be there on time, be professional, all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, working with Dan was great.
Yeah, I feel like everyone took direction really well, especially, I don't know about Trina, but I know for Katie, that was like her first time being on a podcast. And they all like took direction really well. It wasn't like hard to do the episodes with them, which was nice.
Well, yeah, Trina is a model, so she's used to being, on camera. Mm-hmm. But I also don't know if that was her first podcast experience. I think it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that really worked out well. What about the episode, like episode content? Was there anything that was like, ooh, I wish we didn't say that, or, you're kind of not looking forward to it being published and that kind of thing?
I feel like the episode where we talk about sex, I'm definitely going to be like telling my parents not to listen to that. I don't need them to know what porn I'm watching. Like that, I was just like, wait, why did I say that? Can we cut that? I should have asked. Can we cut that? But I also want to be like authentic in myself. So I don't, like, I would take it back, but it's also like I'm 32 years old. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
what
no.
About you?
I don't really think that there's anything. I don't talk to my parents about sex. I mean, what kids do, but not that we're kids. I mean, we're adults, but
you're not a kid.
Only at heart. Yeah, so I don't think that there's like anything where I'm like, oh no, like this is, gonna put me in a bad light with, my family or friends or anything like that. I just, I think actually I don't know if it's a regret, but I feel like there are things that we could have gone deeper on, mm-hmm. Not necessarily in the in the sex episode too, but, across the board, I think we could have been, or at least I could have been a little bit more like raw and candid. I don't think that I really shared like, just like my unpopular opinions as much as I could have, Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that's a closing segment on our show, but it's also, I do have a lot of unpopular opinions and I don't think we went as deep in season 1 as we could have,
Yeah, but we did our unpopular opinions segment the first day too,
That's also a good point.
I know the first day I was like so nervous.
Yeah, I don't just mean during the unpopular...
Excuse me.
I don't just mean the unpopular opinions segment. Mm-hmm. I also mean like just sharing my unpopular opinions on all the different topics.
Oh, that we spoke about.
And going just like a little bit deeper on, everything from religion and, all that kind of stuff. We didn't really dive as deep, I think, as we could have,
Yeah. But I also feel like for season 2, I would like to go maybe from like 30-minute episodes to maybe like 45. Because I feel like that would give us more room to have like more in-depth conversations as opposed to trying to squeeze everything, or just letting our episodes go, and maybe we do have one.
That's what I was just going to suggest.
And maybe we have 40, like just letting it be fluid and natural, and then just seeing where, when it's ready to be cut off or we're ready to be like, okay, that's a wrap, then we can do that. But there were some episodes where I was like, oh, I wish we could talk for like another 10 minutes, like instead of just ending it right here.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. When we delve into season 2, I think one of the things that will be important is to stop focusing so much on the clock and focus more on the content. Mm-hmm. And if we end up, going long, we can have a longer format episode or chop it into two episodes.
2 parts.
And give our listeners a cliffhanger, to be continued.
A cliffhanger? That was a good one.
So speaking of season 2, are there things that you're looking forward to, or, is there something that you're dying to talk about for season 2, or a guest you really want to have, or anything of that nature?
I definitely want to have my friend Alana on.
Your friend Alana? Mm-hmm. And why do you want to have her as a guest?
Because I want to have an episode about, like, beauty.
Oh.
And, like, the things we all do for, beauty and to look good and to feel good. And
Does she work in that space?
Yeah, she's an aesthetic nurse and a nurse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to have an episode without me is what you're saying. Because what the heck do I know about beauty?
You do skincare.
I put on lotion.
That's most than some men. What do you wash your face with? A bar soap?
Yeah.
Or just water?
No, bar soap that I wash my ass crack with.
That's horrible.
It's the same. Soap is soap, right?
No, it's not.
So it sounds like I'll need to listen to this episode, but I don't think I'll have anything to contribute.
You can learn something. Sometimes it's not always about contributing. It's about being open and learning.
Okay. Well, and I admire beauty, so I can share my take from an admirer's perspective.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I'm excited that we're not going to be confined to the studio, because I feel like that will also make us more comfortable, and we can like film in different locations. Mm-hmm. And I think like filming and having a YouTube where, because there's some podcasts I like to just listen to, and then sometimes if they have like certain guests or they're talking about certain topics, I like to look at them and like, I don't know. So I feel like just having that option for people if they choose would be nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from the jump, we always wanted to have a visual medium, right? Mm-hmm. Even if it's just, YouTube shorts. I mean, ideally, we want to get to, being able to release, our long form video on YouTube and what have you.
Yeah.
But we're working on that. We've recorded every studio session.
Yeah.
Some of them I fucked up the camera settings. And,
it's okay.
And it's so dark that you can't even see me. Well, you can see me, but maybe not you so much.
Such an asshole.
So yeah, as far as like, topics or guests I'm looking forward to in season 2, I would say, I want to deep dive into politics a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'd really like to, share some ideas on solutions for, homelessness, for example, and, taxes and things like that. I mean, I've espoused myself as a makeshift politician in some ways.
Yeah.
I don't really want to work in politics ever, but I've often told you, Clifton Sprague for Dictator, right? Because I would be an amazing dictator. I really would. I'm serious.
It's hilarious.
I've got you coughing over here.
I know.
You're choked up on
You wanting to be a dictator. I don't know how I feel.
I've got the dick part covered, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Got that down. Yeah, but I think that's some of the things I really look forward to diving into. And who knows, somebody could hear some of my crazy ideas and reach out to me and say, hey, tell me more. Maybe there's a city councilman in San Diego that's going to be like, hey, would you consider consulting with us? Which, would you? Yeah, I would consider consulting because, I have so many ideas that I could share. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I think my view of, politics is really myopic. Mm-hmm. I don't, you might say, oh yeah, we can fix problem A with solution B, but I'm not considering, problems, XYZ, or maybe not problems, but, aspects of problem A.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know what? You can't do that because of, these other, unintended consequences or these other constraints, for example, budget or, manpower or any other constraints. I mean, politicians and the political system have just as many constraints as, business and, even just, people have, right? We all have budgets that we have to work within and that sort of thing.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Did your Feet Finder account finally take off?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
That's why I'm hiding my toes. They're not free anymore. You have to pay to see these.
Yeah.
That's a joke. I'm looking for them. Yeah. Are you excited to have any specific guests?
I mean, at this point, I don't think we have enough clout to have, anybody, of any kind of stature. I mean, mm-hmm. I'd love to have, to sit down and talk to, famous people, so to speak.
Who's your dream guest?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've never thought about that. It's kind of like that question, alive or dead, who would you want to have dinner with, kind of thing. But I don't really have an answer for that. Do you have an answer?
I think one of my dream guests, Well,
we can come back to that.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm asking and I don't even know myself.
Yeah. No, it's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that came to mind was Bradley Cooper, because I just think he's
hot.
Well, I just think he's cool, and he seems like a guy who has a lot of interesting opinions, and he has an interesting arc to fame, right? Mm-hmm. And so but I wouldn't even know what to ask him or talk to him about. So
yeah.
So there's not a reason to have him as a guest, but.
Ooh, Andy Cohen.
Oh, that would be fun. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Bravo fangirl like you, but Andy does seem like an interesting dude, and it would be fun to get some behind the scenes dirt,
Yeah.
and just ask him what it's like to host those
reunions.
Yeah, because oftentimes there's people that don't want to be in the same room together, and yet you have to herd those cats.
I wonder what it's like choosing the seating arrangements. I was stressed there because the seating arrangements at a reunion tells you your status as a housewife. The closer you are to Andy.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. You want to be sitting right next to him. The further away you are from him, you're probably not coming back for the next season. It's like how interesting or how much conflict or how much you gave during the season. But also just because I've been watching Bravo for so long, I've seen it evolved, and I'm like, he's like the man behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also love Watch What Happens Live.
Okay.
His nighttime talk show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going back into, looking back into season one again, is there anything that through the production process that maybe taxed or burdened our relationship? I mean, this is the first time we've essentially entered into, a business together.
Yeah.
And that can be really difficult with, a romantic partner.
Yeah. I don't think so, to be honest, because I feel like anytime I bring a concern up to you, you like hear it. So I don't really think it's a problem or like an issue. It's just like, but I honestly don't think there was anything during this time between us that.
There was never a point, like maybe during an episode where I was like, I said something, you're like, oh God, I wish you wouldn't have said that.
No, not really at all.
Yeah. And then was there anything where, we had maybe a creative difference where, I said to the graphic designer, oh, I want this. And you're like, thinking in your mind, oh, I don't want that. Or, why does he get to choose?
Yeah. I think the only thing maybe there were two things. One, the day we did our photo shoot because it was raining, and I feel
it wasn't raining.
It was. My hair looks a mess. Like my family asked, "Was it raining?" Because you can tell. I'm like, it was It was misty outside, but like I feel like I probably should have been like, you know what? Let's do it tomorrow. But also with the photographer, she was going out of town. So it was between getting the picture, like doing the actual shoot and her doing the pictures, which she got them back to us so fast. And I mean, a few did come out good. And then maybe the music. But like for the music, I was just like, you know what? I'll just let you choose it because I didn't really love any of them. And I'm like, or maybe I'm just being so picky because I just hated the music that was in our first episode.
So, a little background on that. We, the first episode was essentially fully produced without having us along for any of that production, I guess.
Yeah.
Meaning, the intro audio clips from our pickup session, the voiceovers, the actual soundtrack or music, all of that was sort of put together by the production team, and then they just presented it to us, and we wanted to make a published date, so we said, you know what, let's just drop it. We don't need, it's good enough to go ahead and get it out there rather than going back and retooling it and everything else. So
just still maybe not even like and then we would just be like going in that process, and next thing we know, it's a month later.
So then the producers put together, speaking to the music, the producers put together a new, I think they gave us about 15 tracks to listen to, and then select one. And credit to JC, he gave us really good options from my standpoint.
Yeah.
But after I listened to them all and I liked them all, I was like, oh man, there's too many from which to choose. And then Shay was like, I don't like any of them. And she made a really good point. She said, and you may not remember this, you're like, these sound like the intro to a fantasy football podcast.
Yeah, I'm like a sports podcast. That's the vibe it was giving.
It was giving you, like
Stephen A. Smith.
Oh God, Screaming A. Smith.
Yeah, I literally thought I was going to hear his voice after the music stopped.
Yeah,
like an ESPN podcast. That's what the vibes it was giving me.
Yeah, but what's really cool about this whole process is that it's not set in stone.
Yeah.
While we want our music to align with our brand, we can change it. The music can be different from season 1 to season 2. I mean, it's going to be different from episode 1 to episode 2 and going forward. So, at some point, we hope to find that music that really does, as soon as you hear that hook or that bass line or whatever, you think cliche.
Yeah,
right?
that's literally what I want.
Yeah, we really want that, but I don't think that we're there yet.
Yeah.
And maybe for season 2, or, well, not for season 2 probably, but, for some future season 3, maybe we may have a composer, put together our own unique music that is, that we'll copyright and we'll own, and it will be exactly what we want,
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not there yet.
But overall, it's been good.
Yeah, I was surprised that we didn't have really many creative differences. It's been a really nice, it's just nice working with you. I mean,
Oh, thanks.
yeah. I think what's been really cool is that there are different elements that each of us are more passionate about.
Yeah.
So, we yield to one another when we're more passionate about something.
Yeah, I feel like we have a really good balance. And I feel like also because, like, we respect each other just in general, that's why I feel like there weren't really many creative differences or any issues. Because anytime, again, like, if you felt strongly about something, I'm like, okay. Or if I felt strongly about something, I feel like you were like, okay. Or I was like, when it came up to making the episode titles, I'm like, dude, my brain is fried. I don't know if I'm thinking too hard about it. And, like, you were able to come up with them so good, and they were really good.
Oh, thank you. It's funny because I was just like throwing stuff out there, and you're like, "Oh, I love this."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, that's perfect," And I mean, I don't know. Yeah, thank you. That's a nice compliment.
You're welcome, babe.
Yeah,
And like getting all of our equipment and stuff.
Oh yeah, building our mobile kit.
Yeah, and you did it so fast. That's one thing I love about you. When you say you're gonna do something, it's like done like within a matter of maybe minutes, which I love. Like,
wait, are you talking about in bed? You calling me a 2-plump chump?
Yeah. Do you ever say, wait, it's done? No. But I feel like when it came to this, like, anytime you had an idea or thought we were gonna do something, it was done. Or like you'd be like, I'm gonna let you handle that. Like, you can do that. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, because he did this, and that. Like, it's the least I can do. Or, like...
Well, I want your fingerprints to be on this, too, right?
Yeah.
It's not just... This isn't my thing that you're a co-host or co-whatever. We are partners in this, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, 49 and 51%. Let's not get it twisted.
51 and 49.
Okay. So, yeah, I did think that we would have some, creative differences going through the episodes. I honestly thought that there would be something that, we really disagreed on. And in fact, do you remember that as we were discussing this in, beginning a podcast together, I had suggested a point system.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? Mm-hmm. So I had said that, in partnerships, in business and what have you, having, 2 partners is difficult because you don't have someone to be a tiebreaker, right? Say, we're selecting colors for our logo or whatever, and I want blue and you want red, and both of us are just, dead set in our opinions, right? Then who do we have to break that tie? There's no one, right? Unless you go to the graphic designer and say, okay, which one's better, and then let them choose. But again,
that's not what you want to do.
That takes our agency away from the decision making process. So what I had proposed was that at the beginning of each season, we would each have a set number of quote unquote points or tokens that we could use to break a tie. So say, for example, we each had 10 tokens, and, she wanted red and I wanted blue. And she said, okay, well, I'll use a token. And if I was, if I felt strongly enough about it, I would say, well, you know what? I feel so strongly about this. I'm going to use all 10 of my tokens on this decision, knowing that then I would yield all further decision or tie-breaking decisions to Shay. But, we talked about that, we agreed to it, and then we never ended up needing them or using it.
Never know, we may for season 2.
Right.
The more experience we get, the more stubborn I might get.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, well, anything else you'd like to share before we wrap our season 1 wrap?
I'm proud of us, and it's been like a really good experience, and I'm happy that like we both trusted each other enough to like do this together, and it wasn't just something like we spoke about. I feel like we talked about it in November, because I remember we really kind of were like really talking about it on our road trip to Colorado, and then by January we kind of signed to OLOS. So in like December we were kind of like meeting with other stuff. So I liked that it wasn't just like some like hobby or dream we were just like talking about and like putting all this conversation and energy towards, and we didn't actually do. So yeah, I'm happy about it, and I feel like it also like we get to see each other in a different light and know more about each other. Yeah,
I mean, that first, thank you for bringing up being proud.
Yeah.
I'm actually proud of what we've done as well. And, before we started this, that's what we said success was, at least for me. If I'm proud of what we're doing, then that's successful.
Yeah.
Regardless of how many people listen, how many downloads there are, whether there's ever a viral clip or anything like that, none of that matters as much as us being proud of what we're putting out there.
Yeah, I agree.
And I am proud, and that's a function, I think, of the partners that we've chosen, and also our willingness to put in the time. I would say that's the biggest thing going back, to looking back on season 1. That is probably. I had no idea how much work it was going to be. I had no idea. It was starting a new business.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, I thought it was, it's funny because JC and Lena have a podcast called I Just Want to Push Record.
Yeah.
And, excuse me, I feel like I'm losing my voice now. But they have a podcast with that title, because that's all they want to do is come in and push record, and then and then the episode is done and it's ready for publishing. I didn't realize that we would have so much to do between the photo shoots and the graphic design and doing pickup sessions and scheduling guests and
scheduling time in general, realizing how to cut in. You have a more flexible schedule. But for me, I was like, oh wow, this is like literally taking time away from my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But it was worth it.
Yeah.
And I really have to say about JC and Lena, I feel like any concern we brought up, they addressed, and like I feel like it make it easy to bring up the concerns in a way where, again, it's not like an argument or anything. It's just like we're having a creative difference right now, and like how can we get back on the same page, which I really appreciated, because I feel like in the future it gives me more confidence with moving forward with them, because now they've done 1 season with us, so they know how we work, kind of, and then we also know how they operate. And like, instead of us compiling a list, it's like just going to them right when we feel something, so it can just, we can be addressed and we can just move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I guess we should mention also that the reason that we're losing our voices is because we've been here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, I've been here for a week. You've been three nights, and
we're going through it.
Takes a toll. It takes a toll. All right.
I've been trying not to call so many times.
Okay, well, that's a wrap, huh?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Love you.
Love you too.